Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Jade, and this is How to App on iOS Expert Analysis Edition. Or should I say, Expert Analists Edition. We got Pete Johns and Doug Woods on the show today. We're going to jump straight in and... Hi! Hope you're all doing well. So yeah, let's talk about WWDC. That's all, folks. So if you're watching us on... Who's that coughing? What the hell? Let's see who it is. It's Doug. What are you doing, you sicko? Hey, everybody. Let's welcome Pete Johns, Doug Woods to the show from Studio Live today and the Sound Test Room, respectively. How are you both going? Oh, far.
I'm kidding.
Always got to be one.
I've had a bit of food poisoning. I don't know what it is.
Let's not talk about it. I don't want to rush off to the toilet again.
I'm trying to learn the Doug dance.
Hey, don't get me started on
We can
dance.
get it live. Yes.
We could do the Pete Johns
Yeah,
finger
go.
pointing dance. Head bopping madness.
Build a box.
Sub 'em up.
Sub 'em up. Sub 'em up. Pete Johns, everybody. Sub 'em up. Boom.
It's been a crazy week. It has certainly been a crazy week with lots of things happening. Lots of good apps, lots of highs and lows in the iOS music world. We'll jump straight in, and now I guess we'll say hello to everybody in a little break. So thank you all for being here, and we'll do the hellos soon. Let's talk about the iPad Pro 2021 to kick things off. Pete, are you buying one?
No, I'm not. Because, there's really no reason to. I think cut to the chase. The 2018 and 2020 iPad Pros do everything that you can currently need to do of any app that's available in the App Store and then some. So, no, at this point, I said last time we chatted that I'll wait for WWDC, and if something cool comes out that's a Pro app that requires the iPad Pro 2021, I will buy one, and if it doesn't, I won't. So, yeah, pretty easy equation.
Boom. Doug Woods, are you buying an iPad Pro 2021?
Don't be stupid. No. No.
No. Why not?
Well, I haven't got any money.
That's the best.
And Ivan's just bought me an iPad 2020 Pro, so no. Even if I had the money, I wouldn't buy one. Ridiculous. I'd buy an IM1 Mac or something.
Ivan, are you going to buy Doug an iPad Pro 2021?
No. But he's buying me a Mac.
Oh, sorry.
No.
I misspoke then. If someone was to buy me an iPad Pro 2021, I'll take one. I'm not averted to that.
No.
I'm not going to buy one.
From what was said on the thing, I can't see the point, because what's the point? There doesn't seem to be any pro features offered or advantage to buying one of the M1 iPads with the 16 gig. Why would they not giving you logic, are they? So,
well, let's talk a little bit more into that, because I've been watching a lot of things lately and delving into the specifics of the 16 gigabyte one, especially 16 gig of RAM. Here's the deal. Here's the rub. This is why so many people are actually really pissed off. iOS 15, we thought would be like... really make everything run smoothly on iPad OS. But unfortunately, what has happened is the iPad 2021, for some reason, still using iOS 15, only allows an app, one specific app, to use per time 5 gig of RAM. It has a cap on it. This is what's going on with the specs at the moment. So currently, it's working the same as an iPad 2020, and until Apple actually change the iPad OS 15 to allow apps to use more RAM, there's no fucking point, is there? What's the point?
No, that's stupid. I mean, that really is stupid, isn't it? It's stupid.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
Really shocked to read about that.
Jade, can you do? It's really disconcerting. I've got a great big massive monster Pete Johns all over the left side of my monitor. right side of my monitor. Can you fix that? Like, can you, or not?
No, it's all right. I've got a massive Doug Woods. We're just going to have to learn to accept each other.
Yeah, but you're lucky. You should have a massive Doug Woods. That's everyone should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why.
That's very.
Your camera's jumping
very
around.
strange.
Your camera's changing size for some reason.
Well, that's not me. That's you messing around with
You're not using an iPad, are you? Apple
No.
are jumping in and they're changing things.
iPhone, it's using all of its 3 gig.
So Pete, what do you think about that? The usage of the RAM.
Yeah, and that I worry about that because that's been like not very commonly, but there has been gear that's been released that's like future. It's like we're set up for the future. And it's a bit of a weird anti-Apple thing to do because they've always in the past been criticised for only giving you just enough to scrape by. I mean, we're using M1 Max with, mine's got 8 gig of RAM in it and you can only get a maximum of 16 gigs. So, and that's running Mac OS, which can utilise up to 32 or 64 gig for Pro apps. So it is a little bit weird that they've put this overpowered flex in the iPad Pro and then they've given us M1 Max that just barely seem to scrape the surface in terms of the specs for the Pro apps that we may need to use. So it's a bit of a flip side. I think the more we go with this sort of stuff, I know we'll talk about logic and all the other things. Everyone's got excited about the fact that it is coming or it's not coming, but it's still coming and don't worry and it will come, whatever. I'm actually getting less and less confident that it even will, but I've lost my point. I was going to have a really good, no, that's what it was. I actually think this is more from Apple, a play. We know we're in a chip shortage here, and this to me is a play of that they produced M1 chips. They spent a lot of time and money and effort creating M1 chips, and they went, well, we got an M1 chip anyway. Let's just shove a bunch of those in the iPad because why would we develop a brand new A14X chip when we can just use this M1 that does the same thing? So I'm thinking it's less about giving you a high-end Pro iPad than it is about, hey, let's recycle. We spent all this money into developing this chip. Let's just see if we can use it in everything, even if it is going to be slightly underpowered for a Mac and significantly overpowered for an iPad.
Yeah, well, the other thing too with this is, look, I'm sure they're going to eventually open it up. They have to, right?
Yeah.
And this isn't. Let's be real. We all know the iOS music community is really small. We're infinitesimal. We're nothing. But there is a broader Pro level of people who are being told repeatedly for the last 3 years now, the iPad is a computer replacement. It possibly can be. Until they open it up and allow you to use the RAM, then it's not going to be. I mean, let's talk about cannibalization for a second, because Apple are well known for cannibalizing their own products. It's not a new thing. They would rather cut off one of their other products for you to stay within the ecosystem. So I think this is the reason why we have this handoff thing which looks really smooth. Don't get me wrong. There's heaps of cool stuff in the new iOS, which looks really good for the muggles. That's really cool. You can't deny that. But Core Audio, I want to jump to Core Audio. Because Core Audio at the moment in iPad Pros is fucked. Yeah, except I haven't experienced. I've been trying to break my iPad Pro, to be honest, because I've heard the talk. And is it mostly a Focusrite thing? Because I know you were asking around, Jade, and you said, who's having issues with this, and almost everyone that has a Focusrite Scarlett and iPad Pro seems to be having Core Audio issues. I've got a Steinberg, and many other folks that have a Steinberg interface haven't had Core Audio issues. I don't know if it's isolated to that, but I've been trying to break mine and haven't been able to. I don't think it's that. I think it's Doug. What have your issues been that you've had since iOS 14.5?
Okay, yeah. So I was getting the when I was recording, trying to record guitar or vocal. After, in fact, you can see it on one of the videos. After about 10 minutes to get the audio crackling, and I'm using Audio Fuse, so not thingy. So. I've had the issues with the Audio Fuse, but to be fair, not many. And since 14.6, none. So it's actually been okay. So I honestly can't really complain. It's been a zillion times better. And I've done like tons of stuff. Well, yeah, because I'm streaming every night, and I've done loads of stuff. Cubase's 3 is like super stable at the moment, no problems at all there. I haven't had that weird latency dropout glitch thing, which was happening with 14.5, which was very fucking annoying. Yeah. Where you just go ding, and then you lose half an hour of latency before you had to go back into the engine and set it back up again. That was a right pain in the arse. 14.6, I haven't had any of that yet. So I can't really... it's been okay at the moment for me. For me, personally, I don't know, and I can't really say because I don't use... I suppose I could bring up Joe's Scarlett 2i2 and test it, but I don't know. And Joe, to be fair, also is on the latest iOS, but not on an iPad Pro. She's on the 2018 9.7, the basic iPad, and hasn't had any problems other than the normal problems that you get when, like, apps crash and stuff, that normal stuff that never used to happen, on like iOS 7 and stuff like that.
Yep. So I don't think it's the interface thing. I was just I put out a couple of polls, seeing if it was that, because I saw a lot of people...
I think that what we talked about on Clubhouse was probably true. The fact that probably Focusrite are the most popular interface.
Yeah.
So you're it's gonna be, everybody's got a 2i. What interface do you use? 2i2. Then probably quickly followed by Steinberg. Not many people use audio fuses for iPads because they're too expensive. So I guess the main
Flex.
No, but they are, aren't they? They're right. They are, but no. But I didn't buy it.
Doug doesn't buy anything of his own stuff. You should know that by now.
It's just
I'd
left
just
on my
like
doorstep.
to say the beautiful Arturia 37. Look,
this joke came to VIP/Jade Starr.
Yeah, so you can't really. But most people who use audio fuses use them on a desktop, where the power is because of all the ins and outs. But I guess on iPads, the 2i2s or the 4i4s and stuff like that, they're the most popular. I think most popular interfaces to Focusrite for iPads because they're brilliant and they're solid and they're stable. However, if more people have got them, then yeah, but they are. They were. It's not their fault that the iOS is broken. I think that if you're going to get a problem, most people go, "Oh, I'm getting a problem, or I've got a Focusrite," because that's what many people have, Focusrites.
Yeah.
But I haven't had any problems.
So this is one of the things a lot of people are posting. This not running, the audio engine is not running. Perhaps you have an ongoing phone or video call. If not, try closing all background apps and restarting AUM. This is new to me. I got this yesterday. I was like, what the hell is this? What does it mean?
I haven't had that yet.
So I had the crackling initially on 14.5.1. Then it's been gone since. But I know Kev Hart, who's here, he's on an iPad Pro. He's on the latest thing. He gets crackling every day. He comes into Clubhouse because he uses his interface, and then we have
Kev's
to say,
not happy, man.
I know, Kev. Kev, let us know in the chat how you're thinking about iOS at the moment. I'm sure it'll start with an F. But look, the problem is, I think, that it seems to be different for everybody, and because there's so many apps. Like, I'm even starting to look and think, is this because, like, I have a ghost app on my device at the moment that's updated? A zombie app that's updated, and it's caused a problem. It's really hard to tell what it actually is. Size written here, yes, I get this on a daily basis, but AUM is the only place that gives me that error message. So Si's getting that error message as well too. It's something to do with the core audio has some kind of issues.
And this is something that... Sorry. This is something that worries me. Again, I'll tell you why in a minute, but about Logic and about everyone wanting all these pro apps is the fact that the core audio can't work for basic stuff now, and the more complexity that Apple put into iPad OS, the more challenges like this we seem to see. Yeah. And unless I can get this stuff right, I don't actually want to see any more pro apps. I want them to get more basic, not more advanced. So that's me.
Yeah, no, and people are still having the issue with the AEV3s just vanishing. When you go to add one, they're gone. I had it yesterday, just randomly out of the blue. I had to reboot, and there they all were again. So it's still happening. And for those of you who don't know, the way the core audio works, I'm pretty sure this is right. It's locked at 44.1 on the iPad. So every time you plug in an interface, that allows the variations between kilohertz with your to change with your whatever device you're plugging in. And the problem is when you're plugging that in, there's something going on with the iPad Pros that is creating either crackling or it's creating this error message here which we just showed. And it seems to be affecting the iPad Pros more than anything else. So
that's the weirdest thing. That's what I don't really understand, because it's using a faster chip, it's got more memory, and it's running the same operating system. So I'm really baffled as to why iPad Pros in particular, unless it's just that most people that are using Pro apps use an iPad Pro, so we're pushing them a little bit harder. We're using things like AUM or Cubasis or Aurea. We're not just running the basic apps that you'd have on there. But yeah, it really does worry me, because someone made a good point this week when we were talking about Logic. So I'm like, yeah, Logic's not coming on the iPad. And they're like, I don't really want it to, because I worry that, this is what they were telling me, they're like, things like, I've spent a lot of time sort of harnessing a bunch of AU plugins for my Logic setup on Mac. How are they going to work? Like AUV3's got its own problems, like audio unit plugins. They're not going to be available for the iPad version. So it is going to be difficult. And then things like 96 kilohertz and, God forbid, 192 kilohertz sampling rates that you can use easily on a Mac in Logic. I don't even want to think about trying to run 192 kilohertz sampling rate on an iPad. It would explode. So I think there's more complexity to this than we think. And I think the good thing that Apple have done over the years is that they've simplified things. The reason that I'd suggest most people in this audience use Apple devices to create music is that they have had a consistent software platform. They have had consistent hardware. There is one platform, and you know that if it's working, it's working, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Whereas the Android market and the Windows PC market is so disjointed, because depending what processor you have, what operating system, what version, what hardware you have, everything is different and nothing works nicely together. So my biggest concern right now is that Apple will listen too much to the loud voices that are saying, we want all these things, and they'll rush them out there. I would rather them get the basics right and us be using GarageBand and Aurea and Cubasis for the next 3 years than have them put something like Logic or Pro apps onto an iPad now and completely mess up the whole infrastructure for everything. So that's just me.
Doug?
What?
Perfect timing.
Doug had a little cartoon of a cat in his head.
I don't know. I'm 44.116 bit. End of, that's it.
Yeah.
Who am I, Simon Cowell? Yeah.
Pete.
I'm Doug. My name's Doug. I sit in my room and make music on the iPad at 44.1 and 16-bit. Sounds good to me.
Peppy, where's Peppy this morning? So let's say hello to people here. We'll jump into WWDC for 5 minutes. Hello to Audible Video. Hello, Brad Example, Greg Hernandez, Thomas Christ. It is the end of Thomas Christ week. If you don't know who Thomas Christ is, click on his name, go and check out his channel, because he makes great music. And he does a live stream every day, which is tomorrow. Thomas Christ Week was proudly presented to you by Thomas Christ. Please put your YouTube channel in the chat, Thomas Christ. Dean from Electrona Sounds, hello to you. Cy effing good to see you. Scott Borthwick, hello to you. Colin Powell, Benedict Stewart, Joshua, hello. Who else do we have as I'm scrolling madly? If you see any that I can't. Russ, hello. Russ is here to pick a fight. Doctor's orders. He's going to love that. He's going to pick a fight with me. Kev Hart, who we said. Also, Andy Dion is here too. I think we've covered most people. Oh, yeah, I have an idea. Who's buying us all iPads after the show. Patrick Chandler, hello to you.
2 terabyte, 16 gig. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah. Hello, Joe. Joe's here. Hello. Hello, Joe. What do you know? I think that's most people. Yeah, I think I've got most people. Chris Coles, hello to you as well. All right, let's talk about the Apple event that just happened, because wow, wasn't it a snooze fest?
Uh-huh.
I think, was that the first time you've ever watched one, Doug?
I never watched it. Who told you I watched it? I ain't interested in shit like that. The fuck would I want to watch that for? I was asleep. I literally was. I literally was on a snooze fest.
I think Joe watched it for you and wrote notes down.
Joe watched it, yeah. Joe watched it. Joe watched it and then said, "As an hour and 3/4, I'm never going to get back in it."
So they dropped.
What did they? I mean, to be fair, what did they give us? I mean, it's a developer thing, isn't it? Apparently, it was quite good for developers of things other than music.
Yeah. Well, they gave us iOS 15. And,
well, yeah.
So there's 3 different versions. I think this is one of the biggest issues with iOS and splitting up iOS for iPad and iPad OS is when are they going to actually really differentiate the two? Because they seem to not be doing that. Why split them up if there's going to be no difference? So on the iPhones, we got a new notifications. They souped up the FaceTime calls. They added some stuff in Messengers. They added some fancy stuff to the maps and some stuff in Safari. That's pretty much it. They gave us some focus things to block annoying people out from messaging you, which we all know Pete has no notifications turned on. He doesn't follow anybody. He could give a fuck about any of us.
You have to send a carrier pigeon if you want my text. No notifications.
So that's the phone. But this is the rub. So this is iOS, iPad OS 15. They gave us widgets.
Woohoo!
Are you excited?
Not really.
You're not going to use them,
Doug? I accidentally put that weird thing on my iPad and I don't know how to get it off now. I've got that thing on the left-hand side that gives me my calendar and my thing, and that's bad enough. I'm like, I don't really want that there. I don't need to know what the weather is outside. I live in a cave. So no, I don't need anything else cluttering up my home screen. The only one that I did like the look of is the Files app, because maybe that could actually be slightly useful to be able to manage your files in a widget on your screen while you're running other apps and jumping around. But just split screen it, or just go to the Files app and then switch back. I don't know. I'm not a widget guy, but then again, I'm not an Android guy. I don't want widgets because that's one of the other reasons that I don't use an Android phone. I use an iPhone.
Well, that's exactly how I feel. Hey, if you want widgets so bad, hit the road, Jack. Go buy an Android, honestly.
Well, they do it well, to be honest. It's one of the things that the Android platform actually does really well is interactive widgets, and people that love them, and that's why they use Android. So I'm not telling you to go and do something you don't want to do. Ooh, yeah, that's the thing I don't like. Not that lady. I don't like the... I don't like that in the corner, and I don't want any more of that.
Do we need a clock that's that big, really, on the screen? Isn't there one right at the top of the iPad? I don't know. Because you can make that 3 times bigger than that. You can make it take up a quarter of the screen. I don't... Is there anybody in the chat? Are you going to, add a clock widget and make it 3 times?
Jade, you told me that you were going to have that clock full screen.
I did. I forgot to tell you, Doug, that was a joke.
Now, come on now. Was it really?
No, you busted me. I can't wait.
You do have the app library now, Jay. That's something I know you've been just hanging out for, to have all your apps automatically organized by Apple and shoved in a few folders at the end of your screen. That's super handy, right?
Shit on iPhone. I've never used it once. I don't know. It categorizes stuff in what it decides to be the category. Exactly. Right. What about I like the little... This thing's pretty cool, though. I have to admit. I'll probably use this little notes thing. That's really cool to just flick up a little note and, write something.
We're clutching at straws here. No, I think that I said this in my review, that the iOS-ification of macOS is sort of here now, and as someone who's now bought in and drunk the Apple Kool-Aid and owns a Mac and an iPhone and an iPad now, I'm actually quite impressed with how well they all work together. And a couple of things with the notes that are just going to go cross-platform and follow you. And then, I don't know, I'm skeptical about how well it'll work, but the whole using your mouse and keyboard to go between your Mac and your iPad, it looks cool on the surface. And I do legitimately use a Bluetooth mouse that I have to switch between the Mac and the iPad on a regular basis. So if it works, if being the operative word, that could actually be a bit of a cool feature.
I think it'll work. I don't have any reason to doubt that it will work. Do I?
Oh, mate, my USB mouse barely works in my Mac to begin with. Sometimes I'll plug it in, it'll just be like, you don't got a mouse connected, or it'll go, and I'm like, what, is it 1998 again? Why is my mouse not just smoothly scrolling through my screen?
All right, but let's talk about the multitasking. Doug, do you use the multitasking currently on your iPad Pro?
No.
Not even like to open up a couple of apps, like music apps. You've never used it?
No.
There you go. Pete, do you use the multitasking?
I've got flashbacks to it's like, never ask a closed question or you'll get a one-word answer. No, I rarely use them, mostly because I came from iPhone and I used to have a very small iPad that didn't have much memory. So since I've had the iPad Pro, I should use it more often, but I tend to not. Like, I tend to just...
What's that multitasking? What does that mean? I live in simpler times. What's that? What's multitasking? How would that help me? I know, seriously. I'm asking a serious question.
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know, do you?
I'm not you. Do you know who you are?
Yeah, but what do you use multitasking?
I use
Jade?
multitasking every single day. Yes.
Oh, excellent. So you tell me how you use it, and then I'll be able to tell you.
Okay, I use
if it would be useful for me, because it might actually be useful for me.
I use multitasking when I'm sending emails. I normally will open a couple of email multitasks up, and I've used it in the past. Back when, I'll tell you one thing I used to use it for, GarageBand never used to have a clock on it, so you could never tell how long the song went. So I would open up a GarageBand project and then open up the timer and have it sitting above the actual... This is such a sad workaround, really.
Yeah, I've got one of them right in front of me, and I don't need it on the screen.
But look what you've done, Tim Cook.
No, I don't genuinely. I don't use multitasking. Christ, I can barely turn the thing on.
Well, you kind of do in a way, because you have apps running in the background. So multitasking is partly, if we didn't have multitasking, you wouldn't be able to run multiple apps, like use inter-app audio or any of that stuff. So multitasking is an important thing, because it, how many apps do you open up that say, would you like this app to run in the background? And I'm sure I've seen your videos. I'm sure I've seen you swipe up on your iPad and flick over.
Yeah.
So you...
But I use, things like that, yeah. Is that multitasking? I don't know. I thought it was something completely different. I haven't got any sound.
No, we're just not talking.
Oh, it's back.
We just left you hanging.
Did you? All right. It's all right. It don't matter.
We just love a bit of dead air around here. I've heard that's a good thing in a live stream, as much dead air as possible.
I knew it was going to be like this.
No, it was never going to be anything but this.
Doug, will you be... tell me how you'll be using emojis.
No. Oh, sorry. I'll be using what?
Emojis.
I'm a bit... What's that?
Emojis. You can have multicolored eyes now, Doug.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah. Well, one's been talking to me all week. If you watch the Apple recap updates of WWDC, there's a really annoying avatar that's talking to me, and it's one of those memojis, and it's rough.
I can't see. Did you know what? Honest to God, I'm not even kidding. I can't even. For someone like me, there's just no fucking point to an emoji. I can't really see the point, and I've never used proper multitasking where you're all over the screen. Good Lord, no. I just want to do my job, and I just want to, I need to focus on one thing at a time. Otherwise, I start to get a bit confused, and you know what it's like. Well, you know what I'm like. So I start to it's it's too much for me to have to deal with more than one thing at a time. God, come on.
I've got a question just for you, Doug. What are you having for
another one?
What are you having for dinner tonight, Doug?
Chips and chip chop curry sauce.
Ooh.
Wait, that was a lot of words there, but none of them really went together. Chips and chip sop curry.
That's now Jade got it because she's heard all this nonsense before. So I'm having chips. Now, for our friends in America, that would be steak fries, not like your little.
Not your French fries, that's chunky
your French
ones.
fries, chunky cut ones, chips, and chip shop style curry sauce.
Right. All right, and a follow-up. What's your favourite ravioli?
Yes. Well, see, now we're talking about interesting things that they should have covered in this this Appley thing. So I like tinned ravioli made by Heinz.
What's the opposite of hungry? I'm getting that right now.
But you see, if none of you have got any taste. You see, this is none of you got any taste for the quality food and laugh.
Life in the lap of luxury with the Darkwoods.
God, like, you know what I mean? Life in the fast lane.
Don't sing it, whatever you do. We'll get a copyright claim.
Oh yeah.
I'm sitting in my suspenders. I'm going to do Frankenfurter in a minute just to rub it in.
Yeah. God. All right, let's move on because I know this will titillate Doug, big time. The Mac, what's it called? Monterey. Are you
Monterey?
Monterey. I heard they were going to call it something else. They're going to.
Is that like a Big Mac?
Yes, Doug.
They used to do curry sauce at McDonald's. Seriously, I'm so disappointed they stopped. I used to go in and say, "Can I have one of them little curry sauces?" And they say, "No, we don't do them anymore, mate." And I'm saying, "What? Why not? Why not? Have you got a Monterey sauce? Yeah, I've got one of them." Oh dear, I've dropped something.
No, we're flabbergasted. We got no response.
I thought you'd be worth it, Pete.
I know.
So does anybody give a shit about the new Mac OS?
Oh, let me look at my note. No, the one good thing I like about it is that when
let me look at my notes.
Joe didn't write you enough notes. The universal control between the continuity between Mac and iPad. He did the thing where he put it across, and you know what he said? Boom. We got a boom. I reckon that's the first boom during an Apple keynote. So that was actually the most exciting 4 seconds of the entire 2-hour keynote. He said boom.
All right. So look, let's be honest. The Mac's got a lot of iOS features.
It's iOS. It's iOS Senior now. That's all it is. It's changed.
And look, I've seen a lot of idiots complaining, going, "But I thought that there would be the new iPad Pros would now be able to run Mac OS because they've got all this RAM." It's like, I don't know if you've been following, dickhead, but like, Mac is becoming iOS. It's not the other way around. We're not going to see Mac on iOS. It's
Matthew Fetch is here. Hello, Matthew.
Hey, Matthew. Welcome aboard. Do you feel confident about us reviewing
Matthew
apps?
Fetcher.
Look, yeah. I've got a Mac Mini. I've got a Mac Mini M1.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to try out the little thing between the Mac and the iPad.
I've got a mini, and I'm happy to try the little thing.
You know, to move the mouse back and forward. That's going to be fun for 10 minutes.
Put the house back in the house, man.
Like it.
Sorry.
One thing that I think is cool is the AirPlay to Mac, because when I bought a Mac, I just assumed that would be a thing. I didn't realize, because I'm like, come on, Mac's got to have AirPlay because everything has AirPlay. Apple TV has AirPlay and iPhones have it. Why doesn't my Mac? So I had to run Reflector. So it will be nice if that actually works effectively, that you can just have your Mac and then you can grab your iPhone or iPad and say, play this on my Mac, please. You don't actually just say that. I think you have to press a button. But it would be cool if you could say it.
Yeah, look, that's going to be cool. I think a lot of people were expecting new Macs as well. I don't know if they've been following WWDC for longer than 10 minutes. It rarely happens, so I don't understand people getting freaked out about that. There was no Mac. So what do you think about this rumor? So apparently they're going to be doing another one of these presentations next month. That's what the rumor is, because they're not having to spend so much money to fly in journalists and set up these whole shows with everybody. It's actually going to cost them so much less to do the shows that they're doing now, Apple, that they're going to be doing more of them throughout the year and spreading things out. Does that make sense to you, Pete?
Yeah, I think it does, because I think Apple, like most companies now, and especially in the last year, they've realized that they don't have to do that. Not everything has to be a big in-person event, and it doesn't have to cost a fortune. And it's pretty clear that they're starting to use more of an iterative. Doug's going to I'm going to start hearing some snoring soon, but more of an iterative project management framework. So they're using more of the agile way of doing things, which is let's get a minimum viable product, aka the Mac Mini and the MacBook Air and the M1s, get it out there, see what the market says, and then develop the next thing based on that. Get it out there, see what the market says. So I don't think they used to have sort of a 2-3 year roadmap. They didn't tell us what it was, but they clearly had it behind the scenes. I think these days it's probably down to like a 6 month to 12 month roadmap, and I'd be surprised if they're thinking much further out, because they'll just put things out and say, what's the reception going to be like to this? What if we stick an M1 in an iPad? Let's just try it and see what happens. Oh, what's that? We got no apps to run on it and everyone's pissed off. Okay, well, maybe we'll do something different now. So, yeah, I think we'll see more of these. And it is actually frustrating me that the whole leak culture, which sounds weird, that sounds like something on an ad for something other product, but the whole leak culture where it's everyone has to be so certain. They're like, oh, we got this person, and John Prosser said this and this person said that. It's like, just sit back and relax.
Yeah.
Like, one of the good things in life is that we don't have to worry, because we're not in control. Apple will do what Apple will do. Just sit back and enjoy the ride. Be surprised. Sometimes you're disappointed. Sometimes you're ecstatic. But guess what? That's life.
Matthew Fetcher says, my hot take is that they won't do anything until the fall. App sales are way down. People are going outside for the first time in 1.5 years. They'll wait for the market to heat up. Thoughts?
Yeah, potentially, because it is. We've seen that everywhere. So app sales are down, YouTube views are down, like every affiliate sales are down. Everything. You wouldn't want to be like. Don't think that you want my job right now, because nothing is. You look at all the graphs, all the nice graphs that in March and April and May last year were all going up, because everyone was stuck in their audio caves. Guess what? Everyone said, "Hey, I'm sick of being in my audio cave for the last year. I'm now going outside doing things." So everything's going down, which is just a seasonal variant that you always get, but. This is like the season from heck, because everyone has just been so anxious to actually do things that they're not doing it anymore. And any disposable income they have that they were spending on audio gear and apps, guess what? They're spending on holidays to the Grand Canyon, and they're spending on going to music festivals and shows and things, because they haven't been able to do that for a year. So I do agree with that, and it's probably why Apple haven't pushed any pro-level hardware right now, because all the pros like myself are going to go bankrupt, and therefore we won't be able to buy a new Mac.
Yeah. do Apple
actually? A little violent.
It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. YouTube views down, everything's down, and like it is a seasonal thing, because it always drops in the summer anyway, because people go out, and then it starts to pick up again in September, October time. But it's worse at the moment because everyone is going out.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone. I mean, even I went out today. And that never happened. So I fully understand what's going on here.
I'm going to get a job at a bank right now. So if Doug Woods is leaving his audio cave, then we've got no hope.
It's the apocalypse.
Yeah, so... Yeah. Mind you, I did nearly get arrested because I looked like a hippie, to be fair. Because we've got the G7 summit here, right, like about 2 miles from where we are. And I only went to have a look at the ships in the harbour, the warships and stuff. And there was a couple of coppers, they give me the evils. Like, because I had my festival pants on, my long hair and my beard hanging out, and my Artoria hoodie. But did I say Artoria hoodie? Well, yeah, it's that's it. I mean, very honest to God, they were giving us. And then later on, Joe went out and was driving around and looked at was watching a bunch of hippie protesters actually getting arrested and carted off. So...
The good news is that Doug doesn't need any income because he'll just dine out on all the freebies that all the sponsors are sending. We'll just be able to see if I can get some more swag sent.
Yes, but to be fair, Pete, I've got to be honest with you. As like, we need to show more of the Arturia keystep. Yeah. You can't actually eat them.
When are you going to join the club?
You know what I mean? You can't actually eat the Arturias.
Oh, well, then they're not really. Yeah, there you go. They look quite tasty.
They are tasty.
Well, they are very tasty. They are tasty, but you can't eat them. And this is the thing, you see. Companies send you stuff and send you apps and things, but you can't eat them.
Hey, show me the money, Doug.
You have to earn some money from somewhere, and because we are the three of us. Let's be fair, we run community-based businesses that rely on the community to support what we do, and that's genuinely what it is.
This is where it becomes a telethon. So, we're like, we work for you now. If you'd like us to continue talking today,
they pay us for this shit.
It's absolutely true. And if we didn't have the support from the community, stuff like this would happen, and the lights would go out. It's my clean. Oh, look, it was yellow.
Oh, I can't turn my light back on now. This is all going exactly as I thought it would, Jade. I hope you realise that what you've done here, that this was always going to happen.
Oh, I planned it like this. What do you think?
M1 chip shop sauce, exactly. Exactly.
I expected this to go like smoothly.
Yeah. Speaking of smoothly, if you want your music distributed smoothly, use Jade's VIP link with DistroKid. You'll save yourself 7% off your first year on any DistroKid plan.
See, I don't know if you've seen, I've created this, Pete. So now when I say to people, instead of keeping the lights on, I just disappear like this.
and I used unlocked Tortex. I just like to say,
I can do this for hours. Do you know how entertaining this was when I first learned how to do it? Hello, and down, and hello. Small things amuse small minds, hey? Whoops.
I can do that.
Doug did the joke.
Well done, Doug.
Can't get
seamless, Doug. Seamless.
Looks like you're going to talk some apps there, Jade. Is there anything else in Dum Dum, or we've lost Dum completely? Dum Dum's done. Dum Dum.
So I do have up some apps here because some apps are on sale at the moment, and there's a whole heap of them. So Tap Delay, Cube Synth, which both me and Doug have done shows on recently. That's down from $10 to $3.99. It's very cheap. Yeah, it's very cheap. TerraSynth, Vox Synth Pro, Addictive Pro. I'm starting to sound like Doug. Matrix, Voco. These are all down by half price. I
was just thinking I need 7 or 8 new synths. Said no one ever.
Ooh,
burn. Okay. Luckily, Doug's not listening.
He's fallen asleep. He's looking at an image of canned ravioli, and his total attention is gone. So, Future Drummers dropped in price. I'll tell you what, I want to talk about, kind of before we wrap it up. I know you've got stuff to do, Pete. So, apps and app acquisition, because it is a thing that me and Doug mainly do more so than you. I mean, you do look at some apps from time to time. And Matthew mentioned that, there's a bit of a fall in the market. But there's some really incredible apps coming out over the next month or two, and really exciting times coming up. So, Doug, what apps are you actually excited for coming out?
TV Polyphony.
Yes.
New polysynth from Tone Boosters. Brilliant, that is.
So this is their first keyboard app, isn't it?
Yeah, it's their first. Yeah, it's their first instrument. Hammerhead from Brand Boss, the classic, the absolute ultimate brilliant drum machine from back in the day. 25 years old. 25 years ago, he made it for desktop. Brilliant Hammerhead's now coming to iOS very, very soon. FAC drum kit that's just been released today. Just dropped. Brilliant as well, also because of the actual programming capabilities for each drum, 16-channel drum synth, multi-out and stuff, and all the rest of that, all that cool kid stuff that they do with the multi-outs, and
Seems like a lot of
What
drum
else,
apps coming out.
I said to you the other day, didn't I? It's going to be a summer of drums.
Because
The summer
what's
of
the other one?
drums.
Is it called Drum Lab? Drum Lab.
That's new as
just
well,
dropped
isn't it?
too.
That's
There
from
it is.
the from. I think that's kind of a replacement for DM1, is it?
Well,
DM2.
DM1 doesn't exist anymore. So
DM2,
yeah.
DM1 then.
It's inter-app audio, and I know there's going to be people like going,
It's not bad as well, not bad price. I don't know the developer, so I might actually buy that.
but it's actually not this expensive. This is Australian prices, remember? So
Yeah, Hammerhead's going to be great. And
shafted.
Dee's just said +1 for Hammerhead.
yeah, it's going to be super exciting. You missed something else out there, which I thought you would have.
I'm sure I missed quite a few.
You missed this. Because this is coming very soon as well.
Yeah. Of course, Synthmaster 2.
And yeah.
Possibly the most powerful synth in the world.
Look, I've been playing with it for a couple of days and it's sick, mate. It's really sick.
I just want to say as well, there's a few people been saying they think it's an upgrade from Synthmaster 1. It's not.
No.
It's not an update or an upgrade from Synthmaster 1 because people say I've already got Synthmaster 1. I would have rather paid for an upgrade. Synthmaster 2 is way, way, way more powerful. It's much more powerful synthesizer. Think of it as like dual layer, dual oscillator synth. So basically 4 oscillators. Everything is totally independent. Also, yeah, independent ARPs, independent ADSRs, tons and tons of modulation. It's their desktop. It's their desktop power synth, basically, that they're now porting to iOS. And eventually they'll do Synthmaster 3 for desktop and then also Synthmaster 3 for iOS next year. So
you can even pretty much import desktop Synthmaster stuff into this, can't you?
Oh, yeah. If you own any of the Synthmaster stuff on desktop, you can import your presets. But that's always been the same for Synthmaster 1. You know, Synthmaster Player. Well, Synthmaster, if you've got Synthmaster Player, all them cool sounds and all them cool sound packs like Sounds of the World, Historic Synth Giants and all that stuff. Well, Synthmaster Player, where that's a preset synth, Synthmaster 2 is the synth that builds those patches. So when Synthmaster 2 drops in, you'll be able to get all your Sounds of the World and stuff. Then you'll be able to even start to manipulate all those packs. You do what you want with them then.
Yeah,
it's
incredibly stable for a beta too at the moment.
It
hasn't crashed once.
KV make like the most stable apps. They're just solid.
Yeah.
You would never realistically. You could have Synthmaster. You could probably have Synthmaster 2 and never need another synth if you were a really good programmer.
Don't say that.
That's true.
Wouldn't that be the end of the world if there were no need for any more synths? Isn't that the whole point of your channel, Doug?
That'd be certain end of my job. Yeah. Well, no, I could just do GarageBand videos.
There you go. Exactly. Is there anything? Oh.
No, but it is such a powerful synthesizer. It's very, very, very powerful.
Is there anything new that I can plug my guitar into? That's all I can.
I don't. Well, have you got Tone Stack Pro, P?
No, I haven't. I haven't bought a new app or even asked for a new app in about 6 months, so I probably should probably get onto that. But it's the market's saturated now. Like since Jade started had an app on iOS, there's just no need. It's redundant. If I want to learn about a new app, I don't need to go and get it and learn it. I just watch how to app on iOS daily. It's I don't know the times.
I just watch the sound test room and.
That's right. We're all just borrowing from each other. Just all, yeah. Never have to learn anything new.
I'd like to see a week where Doug just does GarageBand stuff or GarageBand stuff, and you do a whole bunch of synth apps.
Apps, yeah. I'll be like, this one sounds nice. This one sounds nice. Boo. This one sounds nice.
Trading places for a week. Let's do that.
This one has oscillators. I don't know what that means, but they have it.
Ivan's told you, Pete. You've got to get Tone Stack. It's awesome.
Okay,
yeah,
there you go. Well, awesome. I believe Ivan.
Is it still on
But then
sale?
again, you see, you've got Tone Bridge, which Kev loves. Kev loves Tone Bridge, and you know.
That's my problem. Like you are with.
And that's free.
Like you with hardware, Doug, I have all the software I need, and now I just want to make music. So I think I feel the same way about apps sometimes that you feel about WWDC and development and multitasking, which is that I got what I need now, and I don't actually need it.
Yeah, all the corporate stuff, the things they do, and I honestly don't care about that stuff, because if it's gonna affect me, it's gonna affect me. There's nothing I can do about it. If it's not gonna affect me, it ain't going to affect me. It doesn't really matter then, does it? So there's not a great deal you can do. You can complain all you like, but we are really tiny titchy portion of Apple's revenue, musicians, and probably laughed at it big corporate meetings. What about GarageBand and Logic? But what about the latest Candy Crush? That makes us £55 billion a year.
It is the biggest. Sorry, it is the most relevant point, because if you look at Apple's profit and loss, you can bet your bottom dollar that they would have done their market segmentation. They know their customers, and they know that the majority of people, and I'll say this the other day, I don't know to you, Jade, or to Doug, that I reckon about 90 to 95% of people that own an iPad Pro or an iPhone Pro do not use it for any pro features whatsoever. They use it because it's the newest and latest, and they can flex on their friends because they look like they've got the stupid bug-eyed 3-camera setup here, and have never edited a video or made a piece of music in their life. So I think Apple know that, and while that's the case, we are going to just have to accept what we get. We're going to have to take it.
We have to work with what we have and get the best out of what we have all of the time. And we need to stop whinging about stuff that we haven't got and start to embrace and get around. Yeah, and start to make music and demonstrate the apps as best we can with what we have, because we can waste so much time banging on about this doesn't work, that doesn't work. Let's try and focus on but this works and this works, and maybe we can get it to do this and this little bit of a workaround. Making music has never ever been easy. It would be horrible if it was too easy. You want it to be a little bit challenging, because you need to, and it's all right, we can all sit there and say, but this stuff is designed to do this and it's not quite doing it. Well, we can waste too much time worrying about that stuff as well, and just try and work with what we've got. And again, if the platform doesn't work for you, work with desktop or work with doorless setups. There's so many things you can do with music. You don't have to. We can worry too much about the product and do less creation, or we can start to create with what we have. And actually get something done and out there for people to enjoy, and for you to enjoy as well, doing it as well. Try not to worry about work, and just try and produce music with the stuff you have. That's it.
Holy shit!
Wise.
You just stole the whole show,
right? That could have been it. We should have just said, Doug, what do you think? And done that 5 minutes, and then just called it a day.
I agree 100%.
Okay, I need to go to the toilet now.
Joe.
Do you have a pot in there? Surely it's not happened. It's happened before.
Don't talk about the rag. Let's not bring that up.
Oh, we're right back on track.
No, I agree 100%. For all the bitching and complaining and stuff about iOS that I've been doing on this channel lately, the reason has been not because of the things that aren't coming, because it's been affecting the things that I do use now. And I have enough to make the best music I possibly can. There's no doubt about that. What is available now is enough. The thing about Logic is I think it happens a lot with all communities, that the next biggest thing, the thing that you can't have, people seem to want. And then when they get it, within an instant, they want something else. I think that's the society we live in, no matter what you're talking about. So I think Doug's exactly right. And, I for all my bitching and stuff, I do look at my iPad still every day and go, wow, it still is a slate of glass. That's it. And I've been able to make some fantastic music on it, and so much more to come with what I have. I could not get another app ever and be absolutely set up for life.
We all bitch about it. We all bitch about it.
Human nature.
We should just, yeah. And it's human nature to want what you've paid for to work properly, to do its job.
Yeah.
But we need to, like I said, we just need to like go, well, right now we're then doing it. Well, let's work with what we've got and see what we can produce, you know.
And my favourite thing to say is that there's so many, and I watch a lot of music content and read a lot of music articles, and there are so many people out there that seem to just be having the worst time creating music. And I don't know anyone that got into music to be frustrated and got into music to have a bad time. I only have one thing to say, and that is that if you're creating music and you are more unhappy at the end of a music creation session than you were at the start, you're doing it wrong, and you should probably find yourself a different hobby. Just quietly.
Thomas's absolutely perfect point is Thomas says none of you have switched away from iOS yet, so it's definitely got something going. Absolutely, right,
Thomas, calling your bluff. How do you feel, folks?
I tell you what, mate, I will never ever stop producing on iOS, but I don't just produce on iOS. I produce on anything that I possibly can, desktop, hardware, you know, anything. But I won't move away from iOS because I absolutely love the platform. I love it. I think it's brilliant.
Reminds me of every US election where there's a whole bunch of people that are like, if this happens, I'm moving to Canada. And then this happens.
Yeah,
and then like a month later, it's like, so, have you packed your bags? No, not actually.
Perfect example is when 14.6 dropped and we were having the issues with like Cubasis audio and stuff like that. And you remember I was having that awful latency dropout thing. I actually said, but you know what? I'm not going to give up on this because I know it'll fix it. It'll work. So
yeah, there in the end.
We've all invested so much money into this ecosystem as well too. It's kind of hard.
We have the sunk cost bias where it's like, I've put $3,000 in this thing. I'm not abandoning you now. iPad.
My iPad Pro and the pencil and the Magic Keyboard. I look at it every day and go, fuck, that's $3,000 sitting on my desk. Imagine what I could buy. I could start a deposit for a home with that. What the hell? But it makes music, so that's all good. All right, well, we're at the end of the show, so I want to thank you both for coming on. And ladies and gentlemen, both of these wonderful human beings, all their information is in the description. So Doug Woods at the Sound Test Room, all his music can be found in the description as well as Pete Johns from Studio Live Today. All of his music can be found there. Thank you so much for coming on as usual and having a good laugh, because that's what it's all about, really. That's what this show is more so about. Because if you're not laughing as well and enjoying yourself making music and just talking shit sometimes, what's the point? I don't want to sit here. I'm not Renee Ritchie. I love him to death.
All caps love Renee Ritchie.
I certainly don't want to sit here and be him. So it's got to suck. Is there anything you guys want to plug or shill before we go?
No, thanks for having us on again, Jade. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, likewise. I actually have an interview in a couple hours' time. So over on the channel with Randy Motes, who is he plays a Native American flute and he creates amazing soundscapes. So if you want to learn how he creates his music and another little chat there, then jump on over to the channel. That's where I'll be in 2 hours' time.
I'll be there. And to go out today, I'm going to do something a little bit different. Normally I play other people's music, but today I'm going to shill an album that I've been working on for a little while that is coming out from using an iPad. So let's go out today with, I'm going to play some Desir. And no, Pete. Hang on, which side is it? This one. Wrong way, Pete.
I went the wrong way.
We both do it all the time. So, all right, everybody, thank you for hanging out with us, and may see you tomorrow. I'm not sure because I've been sick this week, so I might take tomorrow off. But we will see you again soon. And this is, let me tee it up and make sure everything's working good. This is from the forthcoming Desir album. This is called Chaos Bringer. And we'll leave you there for today. Take care. Keep making music. Keep making mistakes because they make you better. And as always, do what makes you happy. See you later, everybody. Bye-bye. Ha, ha,
ha,
ha.
out the bottom of a shoe. Obliteration of a race, nothing more than a waste of space. Humanity has had its chance, now it's time to lose. Roll the dice, take a chance, the chaos will consume you all. I will be your savior, I will be your king. Chaos bringer. Destruction is the only way. Roll the dice, it's time to play. Humanity is just a shit on the bottom of a shoe. Obliteration of a race, nothing more than a waste of space. Humanity is